Hello everyone for a special edition video from Canal Sidings. This one is in response to a friend of mine, fellow YouTuber Solomon on the Life After Work channel, who suggested for my messed up corners of my warehouse where I'd not allowed the brickwork to come over far enough, he suggested putting coins on the corners, and he also said he would like to see the Silhouette cutter in action. So I've done this video hopefully to show both. What you're looking at now is the Inkscape program in which I draw everything, and here I have drawn some coins. They're drawn in layers so that I can have a cut layer and a score layer. The score layer is green and scores round all of the stones, which obviously there should be a bend in the center here where it goes around the corner. The cut layer is in blue and shows where I actually cut the stones out to go around the corner. The green and the blue are important for when we look at it in the Silhouette software. I'm not going to go any further into that. There are plenty of Inkscape tutorials from people who know it much better than I do. So I'll just break off now and we'll go into the Silhouette software. I have actually saved a DXF file out of this program, Inkscape, of this, such that we can pick it up in Silhouette. So I will go to Silhouette and we'll have a look at it. Okay, here we are in the Studio software, and as you can see, I've imported the file into Silhouette Studio, and you can see if we go to the cutter settings, which is the only other thing I do here, and we go up to here. If we go to advanced, we get the option, but it knows that there are two colors and we get the options to play with them. I can ignore the green and only see the blue, or I can ignore the blue and only see the green. And the green, if you remember, is the scribe layer, the score layer, and the blue is the cut layer. The only other thing that I do in here is I set up the cutting parameters: speed 1 centimeter per second, thickness, which actually is pressure, 33, which is about 270 grams, and double cut. So now we'll go over to the cutter. Okay, I'm now over here at the cutter. Bear in mind I'm actually at my dining room table. My wife is in the kitchen, which is only through the door about 6 feet away from where I'm standing. So if you hear a lot of crashing and banging, you know what it's all about. It won't be me. Okay, I have the cutter set up here. I have a fresh piece of plastic card ready to go, and I have the cutting mat, which is a sticky backed material to stick it to. So I'll put the material, which is 10 thou plastic card, on there and stick it down as squarely as I can. There we go. Okay, now I'll open the lid and we'll place this in the cutter such that this edge runs under that roller. That's the way I always do it. I don't bother with markers and things. So press the load button and it takes it in. Now for this job we're going to be using two different cutters. We're going to be using the standard Silhouette part. I'll go around this side. The standard Silhouette part, which I've got set to about number 5, and we're going to use that to actually do the cuts. But before I do the cuts, I'm going to use one of these, which is a Graphtec CB09 holder, which has got a blade in it, which are replaceable. You undo this black thing and they come out. And I have ground that blade to be more of a stalker, more of a scriber than a cutter. So this is the one we're going to use first, and we're going to do the scribe lines first. So I'll insert it. It goes in here like this. I hope you can see that. the black bit is where the blade is. That goes down, it goes all the way to the bottom, and we twist that and it's locked into place. All I need to do now is start the PC. I have already set the Silhouette Studio software up such that it is going to go at 1 centimetre a second, minimum speed, maximum pressure, pressure number 33, which is about, I think, 260 odd grams, so it's not a heavy duty product. And I've also told it only, in its parlance, to cut the green lines, which are the ones I want scribed. And that cutter shouldn't be far enough out to get through 10 thou. So I will start it. I'm walking around the table to get to the button. I need to get up there. Oh dear, it's hard work driving a PC upside down. Can't see what I'm doing. There we go. On there. And away we'll go. And as you can see, it's tracing each one of those green blocks out, those green rectangles, which represents one brick of the coins. And as it does so, it's moving the plastic card up and down this way and the carriage across there, so it's cutting a square or rectangle. The bottom of the job is somewhere down here, quite a long way down at the moment. Yes, it's got quite a way to go before it's actually going to arrive in the shot, but I'll let it run. It doesn't actually take that long because it's quite a simple job. I'm just going to adjust this light a little bit because it's not quite right. Let's bring it in a little bit closer if I can. Turn it around a little. All sorts of stuff in the way here, stopping me from getting exactly where I want to be. There we go, I think that's slightly better. Slightly less of a shadow. Sorry about the shadow over here, but there's not much I can do about it. I really haven't got any more PowerPoints in here, or any space to put another light in. Have a lamp over here that might take that off a little. Let's try. Prepare for disaster as I move this across the table and then try to shine that down there. Is that any better? Oh, there we go. Taken the shadow away a little bit. It's just an LED table lamp. Unfortunately, all the white balance is now out. You're getting a bit of reflection there. The trouble with this kind of light, you do get this almost point source LED lights. You do get reflections. Sorry, I'm muttering to myself again, but I think you can see that it's cutting. About the best I can do for that light. I just haven't got room over there to put another lamp in, another photographic lamp. But as you can see, we can now see the bottom of the sheet here, and we're gradually coming to about 2/3 of the way, I should think, of the operation. So, and then we've got to do the whole thing again but with a cutting blade in and cutting over different lines. Like I've mentioned before, it's about as interesting as watching paint dry, really. But I let it rub because it won't take that long. If you're doing something that's very complicated, you tend to just walk away and hope it doesn't fail halfway through. Just rectangle after rectangle. And this will do one corner of the building, so if it's okay then I'll cut all the rest by just duplicating the same shape multiple times. Near the end now. There we go. Back to the origin. And what we have now is a lot of scribed lines. I can't take it out to show it to you, but they are there. I can see them and I can feel them. If I get the light to shine right, you might just pick them up. But hopefully they haven't cut all the way through. But I can't check that yet. What I need to do now is go back to the PC, change what we're cutting. So we'll just do that. Again, round the table. And I need to change the cut settings. And I need to change it such that we no longer cut green. This time we cut blue. And just check it hasn't changed all the cutter settings. It doesn't appear to have done, so we'll tell it to cut. Send to silhouette, but not yet. First thing I've got to do is put the correct cutter in. So I need to remove the scribing cutter, twist that and lift it out. Replace it with the cutting cutter, the cutting tool. Right, so now it's going to trace a different path with a bit of luck, and it's going to cut right through. Yep. Zigzag lines. It's gradually moving down, so you'll see the bottom of the page appear down here soon. can see the whole thing happening. And now it's going back up the other side, and when it gets to the top it'll go all round again, because I've told it to do it as a double cut, so it will cut twice, which usually pushes the blade all the way through. I think you can see a lot quicker than I could do it, cutting that is, and probably a hell of a lot more accurate than I can do it. And now we're going round again. When we've gone round this time, we should go to do those two little lines, one at the top and one at the bottom, which I want to register through the material, so that I can then do my score down the back, which of course I can't do with the cutter. I'll have to take it out, and then I've lost all the registration. Come back up again. The paint's nearly dry. We'll better stop watching it soon. There's my little markers, my little registration marks. 1, 2, and we're done. Now, we don't take it straight out in case we need to run it again through the cut to actually go through it. Let's have a look. Nope, it has, as you can see, it has cut through. I'll just release it from the cutter, pull it round, and you can see that we have, sorry I was not locking it, I was in the wrong place there. We now have a beautiful shape cut out of that. And left on the mat, and I don't know whether this is in any way visible in focus, but left on the mat we have what we need. And if we're lucky we can see, although there's so much reflection off the mat I very much doubt it, but I can see that there are scribe lines. What I've got to hope is that I don't end up, that's a bit of muck there, what I hope I don't end up splitting the coin blocks apart, but I've got a tool, a silhouette tool for sliding under that to get it off, so I'm not going to try and rip it off and risk breaking all the bricks apart. So I'll stop the camera now and I'll try and get it off and you can see it in a better light. Not quite, no pun intended. I'll be back. Okay, we're back again and I have a cutting mat now down here. I still haven't removed the material from it. I'm going to stick this, which is the protection sheet for the backing sheet. I'm going to stick that over there, and here I have the silhouette tool, which you can use to get in underneath your job and lift it off the board, off the backing piece. So I shall do that now carefully. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. It's coming easier now. There we go. And it's off. So there we have it. And you can see that it's got the scribe lines on it. There's a bit of muck all over it as well, little bits of plastic. But I did realise that I've made a mistake and this one won't be any use. And that is that, yes, I put my registration marks at the ends, here and here, and then promptly cut them off. What I need to do is add an extra brick each end and put the registration marks in that. It'll be very easy to follow the score line and cut it off afterwards. But that's why I only do one and not lots in the first cut. So I hope that's given you an idea of how well the silhouette cutter can cut things out. What I'll do is I will do another cut off camera, and then that has my registration marks on it, and then I will score it down the back and fold it, and you can have a look at it sitting on the building. So I'll come back when I've got that far. Well, I'm back for the last part of this video, you'll be pleased to know. As you can see, I've now taken all of these pieces off of the sheet. This is the one I originally cut. As you can see, all of these have got their ends, and if we take a closer look, with a bit of luck, I don't know what you'll be able to see, because I'm not sure what I can do to help, but you can see we've got this extra piece on and my line is drawn in it, so that I can turn it over to the plain side and I can see the line here, and that will allow me to fold it. I have one here that I have, oops, now I'm making a mess. I have one here that I have already folded, and if I put it on a wall of the building, you can see better what it's going to look like. There we go. Of course it will be much closer to the wall colours once it's been painted and weathered. I should have the wall in a brown. I should probably leave those in a sort of dirty grey, in a sort of grey, and then everything will be dirted to bring it up to the same sort of level, or down to the same sort of dirt level. But it works really well and will cover the corners nicely. And what you can see, what I forgot to show, is if we look at that side, I'm not quite sure how to do this. If you look at that side, you can't actually see, I put a piece of this there, you can't actually see any of the edge of this piece. Sorry, I can't really hold that, it's too difficult to hold it all together. It was difficult to fold these, and I don't intend to fold any of the others. As you can see, they're quite flimsy, and they have started to part company in a couple of places, so that's why I don't intend to fold any more of them. But the way I did fold them was put it the wrong way up, as we suggested. I then put a ruler down that edge with some weights on it, and just knocked the camera, sorry about that, with some weights on it, and bring, I've just knocked the camera again, then bring a ruler up on top of it like that. Quite difficult to get it up there. There we go. And line it up, and while I'm lining it up with the ends, make sure that this is pushed hard against this ruler to keep it straight. And once it's all set in the right position, press down as hard as I can and gently draw the alpha cutter blade along in order to scribe a line. I can then open up that line using a, I'll just move these out of the way again and crash the camera leg which is in the way. I can open up that line quite easily. I'll demonstrate that. We get a piece of this material, shove it down there, and I put the ruler on it like that, and then I drag the alpha cutter along it. It hasn't gone all the way through, and you can see it pulls a piece out. But now that I have that groove, I can put the cutter into that groove and now draw it along sideways. Take a little more out, and the same the other side, to make the groove wider rather than deeper. It then becomes quite easy to fold. If I can do this with this piece that's here, and there you are, I've put a fold in that along that groove. So that is the process which I use to fold them, but I'm going to keep these all flat until I am ready. Sorry about that, Huey, knocked you over, my little helpers. And so that's it. There's the full story of how I have created the coins to go down the corner of the building. The idea thanks to Solomon, and I'll be back again soon. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.